Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. Josh Duggar has reportedly been struggling in his life in prison. It was previously revealed that Josh and his cell suffered consequences over contraband phones and a harmful prank on a prison staff member, but it seems things are only getting worse for Josh, as news sources claim that his cell is suffering from horrible living conditions. Keep reading to see what happened. One of the latest updates from Josh was his new prison release date. The Counting on a Lamb was initially set to be released on August 12, 2032. But after getting caught with a contraband phone, it was then moved to October 2, 2032. It was revealed that he's now expected to be released from prison on December 23, 2032. The fact that it got delayed for another 2 months may indicate that Josh broke another rule in prison. There have been reports that Josh's cell has been facing punishment due to their behavior, and it seems they're now paying the price for it. New reports recently surfaced claiming that Josh Duggar's cell is going through some harsh living conditions. An insider said that an inmate was complaining about a 100-year-old building that has mold on the cells and air vents, which could be very dangerous to health. The prisoner said that they tried to ask to be relocated, but their wish was never granted. It's unclear if Josh was suffering from the same living condition. The prisoner also claimed K2 had circulated in the cell last year, which is a synthetic version of marijuana. However, the inmates said that they hadn't smoked anything since July 2024, but they're still getting mistreated, adding that nobody gave him proper medications when he suffered from a seizure. This was not the first time Josh's cell suffered from inhumane living conditions. In February 2024, a prisoner filed a lawsuit claiming that the food served to them had maggots. He also accused the prison of not providing any medical care. Josh and his cell were also punished earlier this year after an inmate splashed a staff member with a dangerous chemical mixture. This led to the prison cutting off their food budget so they wouldn't be able to buy the products that were used for the prank. Again, Josh Duggar's cell reportedly went on a hunger strike last March. This comes after the Counting on a Lamb cell got their recreational time limited over contraband. It's clear to see that Josh's life in prison is getting more complicated. Once a familiar face in America's homes through 19 kids in counting, and its spin-off Counting on Josh Duggar now finds himself at the center of a far different reality, one marked not by family values and reality show fame, but by the stark silent decay of a prison cell allegedly plagued by miserable and degrading conditions. Duggar, convicted in 2021 on federal charges of possessing and receiving child sexual abuse material, is currently serving a 12.5-year sentence at the Federal Correctional Institution (FCI) in Segerville, Texas. But while the public spotlight has long shifted away from his televised image of faith and fatherhood, reports from within the prison suggest a reality much blearer than the one he ever faced in court, a fall from grace and comfort to many. Duggar's crimes and the devastating hypocrisy tied to his previous persona deserve no sympathy, but the Constitution and basic human rights extend even behind bars, and according to recent whispers from within FCI Segerville, those rights may be hanging by a thread. Sources close to the Duggar family, along with former inmates and advocacy groups, paint a chilling picture of the conditions allegedly endured by Josh: mold-covered walls, extreme temperatures, insect infestations, and the suffocating psychological weight of isolation. He's not living, he's surviving, claimed one source familiar with his situation. This place isn't just about punishment. It feels like it's about breaking you down piece by piece. The rot behind bars. The reports describe cells riddled with black molds seeping up from corners and behind toilets, like something out of a horror movie. The air is thick with dampness on hot Texas days. The lack of adequate ventilation turns the rooms into ovens. When winter descends, the opposite problem arises: blankets thin as paper and no working heat. You wake up coughing from the mold and dust, said one former inmate of Segerville, and you go to sleep sweating in your sheets or shivering. There is no in between. Josh's cell is said to be no exception. His notoriety hasn't earned him special treatment. In fact, some believe it's done quite the opposite. High-profile inmates get it worse sometimes, said an ex-corrections officer who worked briefly at the facility. They're under scrutiny, and often the guards make examples of them. Josh, being a celebrity in Christian circles, doesn't help him much in here. The human toll of isolation, more than just physical discomfort. Josh is reportedly experiencing the psychological toll of restricted, movement-limited visitation and emotional neglect, despite his large family. Duggar has had reportedly limited contact with his wife Anna and their 7 children. COVID-19 protocols have limited visitation hours in many federal facilities, and letters are slow to arrive, often delayed for weeks due to security screenings. This isolation, combined with the prison's alleged negligence, has made daily life unbearable. He's depressed, not just sad, like truly mentally declining, claimed a friend of the Duggar family who's remained in touch. Josh grew up with 18 siblings, a big family constant connection. Now he's sitting in a cell, alone for hours with nothing but his guilt and a broken fan. Nutritional or neglect. The food is reportedly another daily insult. Meals are said to consist of poorly prepared, under-portioned trays, sometimes spoiled or served cold. Duggar, once accustomed to large homemade family dinners, is now allegedly surviving on white bread, canned vegetables, and indistinguishable meats. He's lost weight, said the family friend, not because he's trying, but because he can't stomach what they give him. You wouldn't feed this stuff to your dog. Some inmates, including Josh, reportedly turn to the commissary if they have money on their books, but that's not a cure-all. Prices are inflated, selection is limited, and getting access to necessities like toothpaste, soap, and clean underwear can take weeks. Legal rights, human wrongs. Prison conditions in the United States have long drawn criticism, especially in overcrowded, underdefended federal facilities. Advocacy organizations like the ACLU and the Prison Policy Initiative argue that inmates, regardless of their crimes, are often subjected to conditions that violate the ETH Amendment's protection against cruel and unusual punishment. Josh Duggar, despite the severity of his offenses, is no exception. If the reports from Segoville are accurate, the question arises, is this justice or is it vengeance? This is not about Josh, the celebrity, said one human rights advocate. This is about a system that allows people to rot physically and mentally behind walls, out of sight and out of mind, that should concern everyone. Duggar family silent. But watching. The Duggar family, known for their tightly held values and unified public image, has remained largely silent about Josh's prison life, but sources suggest that several members, particularly wife Anna and mother Michelle, are deeply concerned about his well-being. They're praying, but they're also pleading, said a relative. They've reached out to lawyers, to advocacy groups, trying to get someone to at least look into the conditions he's in. They believe in accountability, but they don't believe in torture. Some reports suggest that Anna has considered relocating closer to Segoville to facilitate visits. Others say she's lobbying quietly behind the scenes for better conditions, not just for Josh, but for all inmates held under similar circumstances. A cautionary tale in shadows. Josh Duggar's story was always one of extremes: extreme faith, extreme fame, and ultimately extreme downfall. But the saga didn't end with his sentencing. Now it's unfolding in the shadows, in a place the public rarely sees. The question remains, is Duggar simply paying for his crimes, or is the system extracting something far greater than justice, a piece of his humanity? His story is a cautionary tale, not only about the consequences of betrayal and deception, but about a system that often chooses retribution over rehabilitation. And maybe, just maybe, when the lights go out in FCI Segoville and the rot in the walls whispers louder than the prayers in the dark, Josh Duggar is finally facing a mirror that no amount of reality TV could have ever prepared him for.